maybe the rotation has weakened just a little bit within this area right here. Again, it's moving to the northeast at 20 miles per hour. So if I track this out, see if I can move it over a little bit and see how this is going to be moving to the north and east, very close to our radar site. So we tend to get good resolution when the storms are close to our radar because the resolution decreases the further away you are. But Lone Cabbage and Canaveral Acres, these are areas that are going to be in the path of perhaps a rotating storm, which is why we have a tornado warning posted until 4:30. This line extends from northern Brevard County back through Polk County, with the lightning from this frame of view showing up at 257 lightning strikes. That shows there's a lot of energy with this system. We have winds from the south out ahead of it, winds aloft coming in from the west, trying to push this front moving through. And that's why we have the rotation here. Shear marker seems to be removed from the radar, showing that the rotation has weakened a little bit, but the areas in the path of this storm right here, I'll track it out, again moving around 20 miles per hour or so. These are some of the areas that will experience some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and the frequent lightning. And the tornado warning continues until 4:30 for northeastern Osceola and Brevard County, southeastern Orange County, just the extreme southeastern sections of it. Bithlo, it looks like it's just to your south. These are some of the areas that are going to be impacted. I want to go in for another close view to show you the neighborhoods that will be most impacted at this time. Again, this is the time that we would love to hear from you. If you have any reports to share with us of the storm that is moving out of northeastern Osceola County, you can see that little bit of a hook showing up, still focusing on the Nova Road area. That's the border with Orange County. Go back out to a different view of the radar. We can detect the storm winds whenever we have a tornado warning. We look for rotation on this map. The imagery here looks a bit distorted, but where you have the green showing up next to the red, that tends to be where there could be enough rotation. This is another closer view of what's happening with that rotation that is in northeastern Osceola County. And we're still looking at near Nova Road. Oftentimes in the lower populated areas, we don't get as much data showing up on the map in terms of street names and neighborhoods. But the other potential that we had here was for some rotation north of Holopaw. We're picking up on a little bit of hail too. That seems to be removed. Again, this is live radar data. So as the radar goes around and scans, you get the latest information. And what we're detecting here, we're not seeing that rotation on this map. I want to go over to this cell right here, south of Kissimmee, southeast of Holopaw. So the same areas are going to be impacted. There is one small area that perhaps has some hail associated with it. A close-up view right here. The pink shaded areas indicating where there could be some small hail. Oftentimes this has a hard time getting down to the ground. The radar may detect it aloft, but that's a sign of how strong the thunderstorm is, how tall it is, or the vertical structure. Whenever we see hail between a half an inch and an inch in diameter, that's a sign of the intensity of the storm. But the shear marker not showing up here on the radar. I'm going to go out to a different view just to give you the grand scheme of things. This is from our radar site in the Tampa area, so it gets a better view of what's to come moving in over the Gulf. And it's really the southern half of the peninsula that is more favored for these rotating storms. Pretty much north of I-4, we're not finding as much in the way of the intense thunderstorm activity. The most intense activity seems to be along and to the east of I-4. So I'm going to go back over, show you that tornado warning. If you are just waking up, if you are just joining us, we have a tornado warning in effect until 4:30 for a storm in northeastern Brevard County. The rotation seems to have weakened a little bit, but it is enough to keep that warning going. With the latest view of the radar, this is the area of concern right here. Nova Road, that's Tram Road, in the far northeastern sections of Osceola County. This is a loop right here, so you can see how the shear marker was there over the last 15 minutes. Now that seems to be removed, but this is still a very dangerous storm. This would be the most favored spot for there to be a tornado, this notch right here in the northeastern part of Osceola County. So this is an area that has a tornado warning that's in effect. It's getting closer to our radar, so we have good resolution of it. We are looking to see your reports. If you have anything that you could pass on to me at it from Twitter. You can tweet me directly at Maureen McCann 13, or you can post at MyNews13 Weather. Great way for you to interact with us. Sounds like we're going to send things over to Ebeth for a quick update, see if we have any news from this area where we have our tornado warning that is in effect until 4:30. Northeastern Osceola County. Beth, you know, warnings are different than watches. You want to take cover immediately and stay in a safe place until the warning is lifted.
Great advice. Thanks so much, Maureen. I'll pick it up for just a few minutes. Time right now is 4:04. At the bottom of your screen, you've got the very latest on that tornado warning that Maureen McCann was just talking about. But we have new information coming in right now at 4:05. Duke Energy is reporting in the area of DeLand of Volusia County that there's about 1,500 people right now without power because of the storm. Again, 1,500 people, not what you want to hear as you're, trying to sleep, and maybe you're up watching us here on News 13, or just a little bit later on the morning trying to get yourself ready for work or the kids ready for school. You may not have power because of this very powerful storm. As Maureen was saying, very dangerous conditions. This is the time and this is the moment to get away from windows and just go to the inner part of your home if you can. And again, not to scare people. We're just trying to give you the information so you can be safe, because whenever you have a storm, it's bad. Whenever you have a storm in the middle of the night when people have got their guard down because they're sleeping, then it could be a dangerous mix. Again, if you're just joining us and I'm looking over at my computer, Duke Energy over in DeLand is reporting over 1,500 people without power. So they're saying that they're having sporadic power outages in different parts of the county, but DeLand seems to be the spot that has the worst power outage at this time. Let's go ahead and toss it over back to meteorologist Maureen McCann. When I came in this morning, just a little bit after 2 o'clock, you had already been here tracking the storm. The slight sliver of good news, Maureen, is that it's moving fast.
Yes, and this will be moving offshore by the midday hours. The rest of the day looks great once we get beyond this. Those shear markers are back, and this means that rotation is evident in this storm. That's Tram Road and Nova Road right here. We're just on the border of Osceola and Orange counties. I'll go in for a closer view to try to detect some of the roads here where there could be enough rotation. If you live in this area, far northeastern Osceola County and southeastern Orange County, this is where we have our active tornado warning. This means a tornado is imminent. Getting a really good signature right here showing up of where there could be rotation as this storm moves off to the northeast, very close to our radar site. So we're getting really good data of this. This is moving in at about moving at about 20 miles per hour. Here are some of the neighborhoods that this is going to be moving in the path of. If you live in one of these areas or you know someone who does, call, make sure they're awake and that they are seeking shelter in a safe place. This is not a time for you to think that this is a storm that isn't going to impact you. A warning is imminent. This means a tornado is imminent for the areas that are in far northeastern Osceola County, especially when we detect that rotation showing up here on Storm Tracker 13. Going in for the closest view here, that is Taylor Creek Road. We're on Nova Road right here, L73, right on the border of Osceola and Orange counties. This is where the rotation is showing up and a tornado is possible with a warning that goes until 4:30. So we still got about another 22 minutes left on this warning. And as Ebeth was just talking about, there have been power outages in Volusia County. This storm moved through during the past few hours, and now it is moving closer to Brevard County, northeastern Osceola. The back edge of it certainly showing lighter activity, but enough to keep the roadways wet and enough for there to be some impacts on the roads for the morning commute. This is where I really want to focus on going in for a closer view of far northeastern Osceola County. Winds are possible over 40 miles per hour with this storm. I am just stepping over to the printer to see the latest information coming in about any other watches or warnings. Southeastern Polk County, you're included in a significant weather advisory until 5, but our main focus is this tornado warning showing up for northeastern Osceola County. That is far southeastern Orange County, and then Brevard County, the edge of it right here. So this line is extending from about Cocoa and Titusville to the east of Cape Canaveral. This line goes all the way down across the Florida Turnpike into Polk County. So heavy rainfall, frequent lightning and the possibility of damaging winds and a tornado possible, which is why the shear marker is showing up here. We're going to rotate it through. You can see how the storm has been moving along over the same areas. So this is something that means that you want to take shelter immediately if you are just waking up. If you're just joining us, this is a tornado warning. It's not a tornado watch, although we do have that until 8 o'clock. This means the conditions are favorable for a tornado within this area. Let's go back over and see the severe threat here where we have rotation, and this is the border of Orange and Osceola counties. Nova Road right here, Tram Road just on the west side of it. So these neighborhoods are going to be impacted perhaps with damaging winds associated with a tornado. Very heavy rainfall. Again, we're talking about a tornado potentially during the overnight hours. Add on to that the torrential rain, visibility down, not a time for you to be headed out if you are going to be leaving for work this morning in this area. Torrential rainfall rates showing up over 3 to 6 inches an hour within this area right here where there's the possibility of a tornado. So a place that you want to seek shelter immediately, the lowest level of your home, interior room or closet, away from windows and doors. Can't stress that enough because a warning means that the conditions are imminent. You can see how the entire southern half of the peninsula just covered with these thunderstorms that are lighting up Storm Tracker 13, but I really want to stay with what's happening here in Osceola County with the potential for some rotation. Nova Road, Gator Branch Road, that is L73 right here as this all moves through to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. I'm just going to step back over to the radar, make sure that we have the most current information here. Again, if you are just joining us, it's a tornado warning that is in effect until 4:30 for these counties right here in Brevard, Osceola, and Orange counties, and you probably have heard the thunder, seen the lightning this morning. That is certainly going to be something that impacts us for the next couple of hours as these thunderstorms move offshore. Let's go in for another close view of what's happening within this cell right here. Very good rotation showing up, or a very ominous signature. That is Taylor Creek Road, Nova Road, and then just on the edge of your screen here, some of the other streets, Mario Ave, Satellite Boulevard. Take cover immediately in these areas. Cocoa Water Plant in this area as well. This is something that you want to make sure you are seeking shelter in an interior room or closet as this moves to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. Lone Cabbage in the path of this, eventually towards Cocoa and Sharps between now and about 4:40. So the next 30 minutes or so. Oh, sorry, I thought I had the radar up. That is your tornado warning. That is in effect until 4:30, and these are some of the areas that are included with the potential rotation. If you have any reports to share with us, if there's something that is happening, if you have any debris to report or any damage, we'd like to hear from you. You can tweet me directly at MyNews13 Weather. Tweet that account. You also can tweet me directly at Maureen McCann 13. I'll check that as soon as I can. The radar certainly is what I want to stick with right now, though, since the tornado signature still showing up here. This area of rotation appearing Taylor Creek Road, Nova Road. These are the areas where there may be enough wind shear to produce a tornado, and that's why our warning continues until 4:30 this morning for far southeastern Orange County, northeastern Osceola County, and northern Brevard County for about another 15 to 18 minutes or so as this storm moves along. We'll go back in for a closer view to show you exactly where this is. It seems as though rotation is just lifting into far southeastern Orange County. The storm moving very quickly. This is where we can see a lot of forward speed in addition to the rotating winds, and the most current view of the radar is detecting that there is enough rotation there. And here's another look at the severe threat in the entire area. The green generally means some heavy rainfall. There's also the potential for some small hail to the west of Holapa, but this is where we are most concerned about with the potential of a tornado within this area right here, just on the border of Orange and Osceola counties. One of those streets to show up. I guess they're not right now, but as you've been, if you have been with us for about the past half an hour or so, you've known that this is the area of concern being marked right here on Storm Tracker 13 with some torrential downpours showing up. Even by the shape of this right here, you can see how the rain could be wrapping around that area of rotation. that could extend down to the ground in the form of a tornado. Back out to the overall view. Again, if you were just about to leave the house, not a good idea traveling in Osceola County along the Florida Turnpike or traveling along the I-95 corridor. This is where we have the very wet conditions and the very strong line of thunderstorms that's going to be impacting a good portion of Brevard and Osceola counties, not just the area that is included in the tornado warning. Here's another close look of that tight area of rotation very close to our radar site, not far away at all. I'm just going to pause this and move it over. That circle right there, that's our radar. We're located only about 7 miles from the radar, so that means the resolution is quite good on this storm to be able to detect if we have a tornado. We want to go back over to the severe threat here where we're still seeing that rotation. I want to go back over to the velocities, though. This will give us where we have that red and green really close together, and that is the tornado signature that is showing up right here. The red and green next to each other. Try to get some roads appearing on this map to get your bearings. Okay, now we're seeing a few more roads here. That is L73 Tram Road, Taylor Woods Road, and Nova Road right here. So this is the area that we are most concerned about as the storm moves to the north and east, eventually in the direction of Cocoa. The red and green area right here, that seems to be where we have the best rotation showing up and where there could be a possible tornado. And just going to check the reports real quick coming in from the National Weather Service, see if we have any updates on any reports that have been sent in. I'm just going to step over to a different computer right here and leave you with that radar view to show you where the storm is moving, where some of the other areas are going to be impacted. Again, I'm just checking to see if we have any new reports coming in or any other updated information coming in. Doesn't seem that way. And if there is something that is going to be, if you have something to report in this area, we'd love to hear from you on Twitter at MyNews13Weather. Great way for you to interact with us, or you can tweet Beth directly, because that is a good way to get the information to us and she can get it on the air. Reminder that we are in a tornado warning until 4:30 for these highlighted areas. We've been with this for about 30 minutes now as the storm evolved over Osceola County and is now moving in the direction of Cocoa, lifting out of northeastern Osceola County. So those in and around Cocoa, Sharps, these areas, you want to take shelter immediately and make sure you are in an interior room or closet away from windows and doors because of the threat of a possible tornado. We do have this tornado warning continuing until 4:30 this morning as the storm lifts away, moving to the northeast at around 20 miles per hour. Again, seeing some of the other neighborhoods that are going to be in the path of this. If your city is listed here, go to an interior room or closet away from windows and doors. Probably seeing a lot of lightning, hearing a lot of very torrential rain. Small hail possible with this, not detecting it on radar at this time, but as this storm moves to the northeast, it will be offshore within about an hour or so. But until then, we're carefully monitoring this area of rotation. I'll go in for another close look of where there could be a possible tornado. I'm just going to step aside and check the printer real quick to see if we have any latest information or reports coming in. Tornado warning continues until 4:30 for these areas that we have been monitoring. It's moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Lone Cabbage Fish Camp, moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. Rockledge, Cocoa, Canaveral Groves, you are potentially in the path of this storm, so you want to seek shelter immediately. Go back out to the wide view so I can take you in for the overall perspective. If you are just waking up, if you're just joining us, the potential for a tornado imminent here with our tornado warning for far northeastern Osceola, just about to cross into Brevard, and this is southeastern Orange County right here. These circles indicate where there could be some rotation in the atmosphere, but this is enough to produce a tornado warning. Remember, that means a tornado is imminent, and there could be there could be flying debris in your area. You could be looking at damage to homes or to roofs. So if you have any reports of that, we would like to hear from you. And of course, as long as you are in a safe spot, to share that information with us. An interior room or closet, making sure you stay away from windows and doors. This area is what we're most concerned about. Go in for a closer view to pick up on some of those streets in far southeastern Orange County just about to move close to our radar site in Cocoa. So here's some of the other streets to put things into perspective. That is Missile Ave, Mario Ave, some of the other roads, going back out to a different perspective just to show you how far we are from the I-95 corridor. And this storm will soon be moving over I-95. So if you're just about to leave the house, heading off to work, maybe just wait another hour until this storm passes by. Not a time for you to be out on the roads dealing with these areas of torrential rain, frequent lightning, and most importantly, the damaging winds and the possibility of a tornado. Back into the closer view to show you exactly which neighborhoods, which roads are impacted. The latest view of the radar still picking up on these shear markers. We're right over Lone Cabbage, so these areas take shelter immediately in an interior room or closet. Not the time for you to think that it's just a watch. This is an actual warning. The watch continues until 8 a.m. Brevard, Osceola, and Polk counties. Remember, in and around the watch area, you always want to be on guard for the likelihood of a tornado. So back to the closer view, we're over Lone Cabbage Fish Camp, and these are some of the roads that are going to be impacted. I'm watching Nova Road just over the border into Osceola County. There is Cocoa. So Cocoa and Rockledge, if you are just waking up, those areas you also want to take shelter immediately. Very torrential rainfall showing up with this, and whenever we have tornadoes during the overnight hours when people are sleeping, and then you add on the blinding rainfall, just not a time to be out. Some of the rainfall rates estimated here, a sign of the intensity of the storm. We're picking those up around 1 to 4 inches an hour. So a reminder that we have this tornado warning going until 4:30 this morning. Brevard, Osceola, and northeastern Orange counties, these are the areas that are going to be most impacted with the likelihood of a tornado. I'm going to go back out to a different view of the radar. I'm going to go back over to the velocities to be able to detect where we have the green moving towards the radar, the red moving away. When you see those very close to one another, it indicates a very tight rotation. So that is where the radar is going to be impacted by that is where we're seeing the green and the red showing up very close to each other. This means that the signature is there for a potential tornado, and that's why you want to take cover immediately. So going in for a close view of where we see that red and the yellow, rather the red and the green really tight together. Nova Road right here. Again, we're just moving over into southeastern Osceola, rather northeastern Osceola and far western Brevard counties. Missile Ave right here, there's Cox Road, there's Tucker Lane, some of the other roads that are in this area. Cocoa Water Plant Road on the west side of this rotation. So if you are in or around Sharps, Cocoa, you want to take shelter immediately because this is going to be moving to the northeast quickly at about 30 miles per hour, which is why we have been in continuous coverage. We're going to track this out one more time. It sounds like we're going to send things over to Beth, see if we have any updates. But within this area right here, going off to the northeast at about 20 to 30 miles per hour, looks like I'm going to run out of room. Here are some of the areas that are impacted. Sharps and Indianola are going to be in the path of this between now and close to 5 a.m. So a reminder, we still have about 8 minutes left on this tornado warning, getting very close to our radar site. And this is a warning that is imminent for now. The focus seems to be moving into Brevard County, about to move over the 528 and soon to be moving towards Sharps and Cocoa. It sounds like we're going to head over to Ebeth for a few more updates, see if we have any news coming in from viewers or any other reports from this area. You know, Ebeth, 4:22 in the morning, the worst tornadoes. Of course, all tornadoes are dangerous. When you're talking about nocturnal ones, people are sleeping. That's when it's most dangerous. So hopefully people are alerting others to go seek shelter if you have friends or family in this area.
And that's where News 13 steps in because we're on all the time. Thanks so much. Maureen McCann getting more data. We'll go live to her in just a minute, but want to give you new information coming in from Duke Energy. They had been telling us that the area of DeLand had about 1,500 people without power, but now the power has been restored. So a little bit of good news in the middle of this tornado warning, as Maureen McCann was talking about the tornado warning for Brevard County, Osceola, and also the northeast eastern part of Orange County. When you see red on the radar, it's never a good thing. And when you see magenta, not a good thing. Pretty colors, but not a pretty situation, especially as meteorologist Maureen McCann was just talking about. People are sleeping and you're kind of just out of it. So that's why we're here to give you the very latest information. I want to invite you also to go to our website, mynews13.com, or also go to our app, or just send us any pictures of any damage. We don't want you to risk your life, okay? But if you happen to see something, just take a picture, get some video, and send it our way, because we're talking about pounding rain, the possibility of hail across many parts of Central Florida. A little bit of good news is this thing is moving along pretty quickly, so that's good. But if you're in the middle of the bullseye, it's not good for you. I'm looking down because I'm looking at our News 13 app, and this is awesome, okay? Because as you're getting ready for work, watch this. You could just scroll that, and it's going to tell you the different conditions throughout Central Florida. Ignore my cracked screen there. I got to get that replaced. But again, a tornado warning for Brevard County, Osceola County, and Northeast Orange County in effect right now. It's set to expire at 4:30. Sometimes these things get extended. Sometimes they scale back. Let's go ahead and check in with severe weather expert meteorologist Maureen McCann. Back to you, my friend. And how big of a storm is this? Because it seems like it's covering a pretty wide stretch of Central Florida.
Yeah, it absolutely is, extending from northern Brevard County near Titusville, just to the south of Titusville, Merritt Island finding some very heavy rainfall, Cape Canaveral, Cocoa and Sharps in the path of this storm, where you're just asking about the tornado warning. It actually has been extended for Brevard County until 5 o'clock. So this just coming off the printer because of this area right here. We're getting very close to our radar site, and this is a pretty good sign that there could be rotation when the radar picks up on this much of the this many shear markers appearing. Again, that is Nova Road right here, Pine Street, Rockledge just on the edge of the screen right here. This is where there is the possibility of a tornado. If you're just joining us, to seek shelter immediately. Interior room or closet away from windows or doors. The rotation has prompted a tornado warning to be extended as it moves over Lone Cabbage Fish Camp and moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. This just came off the printer. So this is a dangerous storm. Cocoa and Rockledge in the path of this. Merritt Island and Sharps, Cape Canaveral. If you live in one of those areas, you want to be seeking shelter immediately. As Beth was just saying, News 13 Plus, a great tool for a situation like this as the storm moves to the northeast at around 30 miles per hour. So I'm going to expand the view here, track this up to see exactly where it's going to be moving. Again, to the northeast, just running out of screen here, but some of the areas impacted with the potential of rotating winds, damage possible, flying debris. If you have any reports like this and you are in a safe place, of course, that's the most important. You want to share those with us so we can relay them to our viewers. Cocoa, Cape Canaveral right here. And within this frame of view, 19 lightning strikes. This is moving very quickly to the north and east with winds capable over 45 miles per hour, of course, stronger if we were seeing a tornado. Again, this is radar indication right here. Want to switch over and see the velocities on the radar to detect that couplet of where there's wind moving towards and away from the radar. Again, this is a tornado warning that is in effect now until 5 o'clock. Got to change that banner. That is until 5 o'clock for for Brevard County. Going back over to the radar site, going to detect what's happening here with the velocities. And this is a very clear indicator where you have green and red right next to each other. Sharps, Cocoa, Cape Canaveral. This is going to be moving in your direction. This is a dangerous storm. There's the green and red right next to each other. And we can go in for the closer view of where some of these roads are. That's Cocoa West right there, and Missile Ave and Cox Road, James Road, some of the other places that are in the path of this. Right along the 528, about to be in the path of this, and 520. This is just moving through. So Lone Cabbage Fish Camp seems to be on the southwest side of this storm as it moves more towards Sharps and Cocoa over the Indian River and Banana River between now and about the next hour or so. The severe threat imminent with these areas of rotation right over or soon to be just south of Port St. John, Sharps, and Cocoa. Go back over to this view right here, and the radar is detecting a very good indication of rotation right near our radar site, Cocoa, Cape Canaveral, Merritt Beach. Again, you are in the path of this and you want to seek shelter if you are just waking up, if you are just joining us. And another bulletin just coming in from the National Weather Service about this warning extended until 5 o'clock for central Brevard County as this moves to the northeast around 30 miles per hour. Flying debris possible, homes could be damaged, roofs could be damaged when we talk about rotation like this within a thunderstorm. There's Cocoa, there's Cape Canaveral, Merritt Island. So this is emerging out of northeastern Osceola County. The focus now central Brevard County until 5 o'clock this morning because of this rotation that is showing up within this thunderstorm. Remember, we have been in the tornado watch for the past couple of hours. It's the warning that has been about 45 minutes or so. That means conditions are imminent for a tornado, and this continues for another 30 minutes. I want to take you back into street level to show you exactly some of the areas that are potentially in the path of this. There's Port St. John right there, Phyllis Way, Canaveral Groves Boulevard. We'll pan down just to show you some of the other neighborhoods that potentially in the path of this where you want to seek shelter immediately in this section of Brevard County, far northeastern Osceola County. Lightning within this frame of view, about 4 strikes, but you go out to the broad view and it's a lot different with lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes, over 300 strikes. So a view of this that's going in towards Cocoa, Merritt Island, Cape Canaveral. This is moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So it's moving fast here during the pre-dawn hours, and it's likely going to be moving out of here before the morning commute. Roads will still be slick, but any travel within the next 30 minutes or so, really not advised. Just wait until this passes if you were just about to leave the house for work. Some of the areas impacted within here, Sharps and Frontenac, Merritt Island, close to 5 o'clock in the morning. Here you want to seek shelter immediately. So you have some time before this gets to you. Merritt Island and Cape Canaveral, this is a dangerous storm capable of some torrential rain, frequent lightning, and of course the damaging winds as indicated here by the shear markers showing up on Storm Tracker 13. Again, this is live radar. This shows you exactly what is happening as it's unfolding, which is a benefit to Storm Tracker 13, especially when you have a system moving so closely to our radar site there in Cocoa. So back to a closer view. Cocoa right here, Port St. John to the north. There's Bithlo to get your bearings from this perspective. And the tornado warning continues for these areas until 5 o'clock this morning as a very ominous sign shows up here that there could be a rotation. Again, this is radar indicated from Sharps over to Cocoa. You want to be seeking shelter until this passes. There's Rockledge. We're right over our radar site right here. That's where the circle is indicated. So that is the location of Storm Tracker 13. And as we go down to the south just to get your bearings on some of the roads in this area, this is where the tornado warning shows that the situation is most dangerous and you need to be seeking shelter immediately. The overall view indicates that this extends from Cape Canaveral, Merritt Island, all the way down across Florida Turnpike into far southern Osceola County. But the only active warning we have right now is for this area of rotation that is just moving close to Cocoa as we speak. Cocoa and Sharps, these areas, these towns and communities, you want to be seeking shelter until this moves through. Don't leave the house. It's 4:31. Just wait until this passes if you're going to be venturing out to work this morning. This is a dangerous situation. We have a lot of energy in the atmosphere with the cold front approaching, coming in from the west. And there's also the potential for some small hail within some of these, a sign of the vertical structure of these storms. There's Sharps and there's Cocoa, and this feature of the radar detects where winds could be in excess of 70 miles per hour. This is where the most ominous sign would be of a tornado. Now this is showing up on radar. I want to go in for a closer view here to show exactly some of the areas that would be in the path of these damaging winds. Looks like I don't have the street names to come up at this point, but I'm going to leave you with this view while I go over to the radar and track this out as this moves to the northeast around 30 miles per hour. Again, it will soon be off the coast, but until then, that red shaded area is the most that is in the path of perhaps damaging winds over 70 miles per hour with enough rotation for there to be a possible tornado. I'm going to just turn the road maps on here and go in for a closer view of this cell right. The red shaded area moving right over the highway right here. To put things into perspective, some of the other roads that are included, this is where the damaging winds are possible, with the most likely spot of rotation winds possibly 50 to 70 miles per hour. So some of these streets here, if you know someone that lives on one of these streets and they perhaps could be sleeping, call and wake them up and make sure that they are getting to the lowest level of their home, an interior room or closet. This is a great feature here of Storm Tracker 13 to show exactly where the winds would be strongest and where we have the likelihood of the winds that could be over 50 to 70 miles per hour. It looks like the radar just refreshed and the storm moved a little bit more to the northeast. Port St. John, Sharps, here's where there's the potential of winds over 58 miles per hour, where the greatest likelihood of rotation is showing up. Back over to the radar we go to indicate where this storm is. If you're just waking up, if you're just joining us, Cocoa, Sharps, Port St. John, right over I-95 pretty much at this time. And along the beach line, that's where the rain is heaviest. That's where the potential is there for rotation and the possibility of a tornado, warranting this tornado warning to continue until 5 o'clock this morning. And this is moving to the northeast very quickly. Rockledge in the path of this, Cocoa, Sharps, Cape Canaveral, Merritt Island, any one of these communities, you want to be seeking shelter immediately because of the threat of strong damaging winds. And this feature right here showing exactly where the conditions are most imminent. Port St. John, there's Sharps. Just going to turn on the radar layers here to detect where we have our streets. Again, this is Sharps and some of the other roads in this area. What this maroon represents is where winds could be over 58 miles per hour. There also could be some hail and some very torrential rainfall on the order of 5 inches an hour. Now, of course, you're not going to get 5 inches. That would be if the storm was located over you, but it's not going to be stationary. This is moving very quickly, moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So these are some of the areas that are going to be in the path of this. Back over to the radar to indicate where this situation is with our tornado warning that continues until 5 o'clock this morning. I changed the banner on that, but we're looking at central Brevard County until 5 o'clock this morning. Here's where we have the potential of a tornado, and if you have any reports to share with us, it's a good morning for you to interact with us, but from a safe location. Do not do so if you're going to be putting yourself at risk. You want to be in a safe spot in your house. If you have any damage to report in your area, you can tweet us directly at MyNews13 Weather. Great way for you to interact with us. Again, this is the area of rotation moving pretty much into Cocoa right now. So if you're just waking up, Cocoa, Cape Canaveral, and Merritt Island, make sure you are in a safe location. This storm will move by within the next 45 minutes or so, and everything will be much quieter for the rest of the day. But this probably woke you up with all the thunder and lightning as it moves through to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Tracking this out, can tell where the storm is going to be moving and what communities could be impacted by damaging winds. Cocoa, Sharps, and Indianola between now and about 4:44. So next 10 minutes or so, these areas you want to be seeking shelter immediately. So down towards Cocoa, looks like the radar site is being impacted right now by some very heavy rainfall. Winds perhaps in excess of 40 to 60 miles per hour as this storm moves quickly offshore. Now, if you're just waking up for Orange County, the threat has shifted to our east. It's lighter rain along and north of I-4, extending down into Osceola counties. This is where we have our tornado warning that goes until 5 o'clock for central Brevard County because of this storm that has been holding together for the past hour or so, moving across the I-95 corridor, moving across the Indian River with some torrential rainfall and potentially damaging wind. So this is a populated area. This is a place where you want to make sure that your friends and family, if they are asleep, call them and make sure that they are seeking shelter immediately because of the threat of a tornado. Tornado warning means that the threat is imminent. A watch means conditions are favorable. We do have that until 8 o'clock this morning, but for this area right here, Sharps and Cocoa, the radar is picking up on potential rotation right in this area right here that's highlighted. That is Indian River Drive, and we're looking right over Sharps. In this frame of view, about 11 lightning strikes with the damaging winds. That's our greatest concern at this time. So we're looking at the tornado warning that goes until 5 o'clock for this area right here. Go in for a closer view to detect which streets are in the area. This is Rockledge right here, just to get your bearings on the radar. We're looking from Rockledge to Cocoa up to Sharps and Port St. John. Again, a very heavily populated area where we want everyone to be seeking shelter immediately. And if you're just waking up, go to an interior room or closet. We have about 22 minutes left on this tornado warning. It's something that the conditions are imminent for there to be a tornado, and we're looking for your reports. If you have any damage to share with us, if you are in a safe location, you want to share that with us on Twitter at MyNews13Weather. That would be a great way for you to interact with us. So back over to Cocoa, Cape Canaveral, Merritt Island, tracking this out, and we want to show you exactly where these storms are going to be moving and when they are going to be moving through. Again, by about 5:20, about 40 minutes from now, this is going to be moving offshore, but between now and then, our tornado warning continues. The radar is detecting that shear or the rotation showing up near Cocoa and Sharps. These are some of the roads that are in the area of impact. So our tornado warning goes until 5 o'clock this morning. These storms have been holding together throughout the overnight hours. We started watching them around 2 o'clock this morning as they moved through the I-4 corridor. Now it is Brevard County that is facing the strongest activity right over Cocoa as we speak, with winds potentially over 40 to 60 miles per hour. And here's where the tornado warning continues until 5 o'clock this morning. Okay, I'm going to track this out just to show you exactly where this is going to be moving to the northeast, moving around 30 miles per hour. Cape Canaveral in the path of this. Also Cocoa, as we've been talking about, is pretty much overhead right now, so damaging winds possible. I'm going to see if I can switch over to another view of the radar to detect where those strong winds are, and it looks like it's right near Port St. John. This is a very cool feature of Storm Tracker 13, where it shows where some of the rotation or where the winds are strongest, and we're going in for a close-up view. Here are some of the streets. If you know someone that lives in this area, we're to the east of Port St. John. Here's where there could be some large hail, if not winds over 58 miles per hour as detected by radar. We're very close to our radar site, which is a good thing because we can get really good data showing up close to our radar in Cocoa to expand the view and see what else is happening within these storms right here. Again, not detecting the core of this maroon or this pink shading anywhere else other than in southeastern Brevard County. We have the area of pink showing up. That's where there could be, or rather southeastern Osceola near Holapa. This is where there could be some potential hail. But our focus is on what's happening in Brevard County, where we have our tornado warning going until 5 o'clock. We're over Cocoa right now. There is Sharps, and it looks like the shear marker just moved. Go back out to see if that has been detected. Got something coming in off the printer, and Jamie Martin is in the house. What do we got here, Jamie?
Absolutely. New severe thunderstorm warning that's going to be in effect for northwestern Osceola County until just 5:45.
So that's probably for that area right here.
Absolutely.
So.
Yep. Yeah, I'm still checking. I haven't seen anything over the social media yet in terms of any kind of damage or anything, but I'm keeping an eye on it for you.
All right, excellent. So Jamie Martin is here tracking these as well. So it sounds like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Osceola.
Yep. Until 5:45.
All right, until 5:45, Osceola County. That's potentially because of this heavy rain right here that is moving over the area that saw the tornado warning just a short while ago. Now, if this storm is stationary, 4 to 5 inches of rain could occur, but that's not happening because these storms are moving very quickly at around 30 miles per hour. This view of the radar really shows that it's the southern half of the peninsula more favored for these thunderstorms this morning. That's where we have our tornado watch in effect. And this continues until, our warning continues until 5 a.m., but the watch goes until 8 o'clock this morning. So there's Cape Canaveral, Sharps, Cocoa. The radar is looping through right now, but I'll pause it to give you the most current information. Again, this is Sharps, Cocoa, Cape Canaveral, the radar indicated rotation right here. There's Audubon Road, East Hall Road, some of the other communities or streets in the area, North Courtyard Parkway. If you know someone that lives in and around here, make sure that you call them, wake them up, tell them to go to the lowest level of their home, seek shelter immediately. directly away from windows and doors. Try to put as many walls between you and the outside of your home. That is how you can stay safe during a storm like this. Again, this is a dangerous storm capable of producing winds over 40 to 60 miles per hour. Rotation still showing up near Cocoa within this frame of the radar. This is moving very quickly off to the northeast. Merritt Island, Cape Canaveral, this is going to be approaching you, and soon it will be offshore. But we also have the thunderstorm warning that extends on the southern extent of this. Going to pan down and show you exactly what's happening there. These are the deeper areas of red and yellow showing up between Holopah, 192 over towards Melbourne, Palm Bay. Here's where there is another cluster of some very heavy downpours, frequent lightning and gusty winds possible within these areas too, which is why we have our severe thunderstorm warning. But our main focus is what's happening in Brevard County. Here's where our tornado warning goes until 5 o'clock this morning. Cape Canaveral looking right here. Actually, Jamie, I don't know if you can call it up, our camera over in Cape Canaveral. Maybe
Sure.
we could check out the Health First Cape Canaveral Hospital camera. Would be a good time maybe to detect some of that lightning maybe seen off in the distance. And of course, if we could see anything occurring in terms of rotation. This is the area right here. The yellow shaded area is where the radar detects some rotation or winds changing in direction in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. And oftentimes that can come down to the ground or lower in the form of a funnel cloud and eventually become a tornado. Tornado warnings mean that conditions are imminent. Does not mean that conditions are favorable. That would be a watch, and we do have that, but a warning is much more significant, and that continues for central Brevard County until 5 o'clock this morning. So we're looking at Cocoa, Sharps, and Rockledge. These areas getting some very heavy rainfall, but just moving over the Indian River and the Banana River, these areas in Brevard County where we are focusing on the potential of a tornado. The rotation still showing up here as indicated by Storm Tracker 13. I want to go back over to the severe threat indicator, see if I can pick up on that, or the storm winds. This is better. I can see the rotation possibly wherever we see the red appearing close to the, wherever we see the red close to the green. Looks like the radar seemed to freeze on me. I don't know if we can maybe get something up in Max 1 where we have a potential looks like we might need to reboot the radar.
You go do that. I'm going to talk about Cape Canaveral right now. Thanks a lot, Mo. Right now, things, actually very turbulent over there right now around Cape Canaveral. This is a look right now from the Health First Hospital cam. This is looking out to the west. You can see the lightning flashes right now across that area. This is looking straight due west out towards the central parts of Central Florida here. And as you can see right now, the rain is coming down. We are looking at some very turbulent conditions, as I mentioned, with the winds beginning to pick up across that area, and we're watching it very carefully. Again, tornado watch in effect till 8 a.m. for Brevard County, Osceola County, Polk County, and that's going to continue again through 8 a.m. this morning. But it looks like the worst of the weather is beginning to head towards the coastal sections of northern Brevard County, as I mentioned, just where we have our camera in place. Here's a look at the temperatures across here. It's still warm. It's still very muggy, and that's what's helping build these storms. 69 in Melbourne right now, 65 in Orlando and Leesburg, 67 in Sanford, 66 Daytona Beach. It's beginning to cool off, though, around Ocala, so that front's beginning to push its way through. This is going to be a very early morning activity in terms of the showers and thunderstorms. So for the next 2 hours or so, that's going to be about it, and then we're going to start really quieting things down across the area. In fact, here's what's ahead. As we head through 8 a.m., we're going to see the chance of showers. We're going to see the chance of a few thunderstorms in our southern counties, especially southern Brevard County heading down towards Vero Beach. Everybody else will start to quiet down across the area the next couple of hours. By the time we roll through the rest of the day, we're actually looking at pretty nice conditions. But again, we still have that tornado warning in effect until 5 a.m. Again, that's going to be in the northern parts of Brevard County, and that's what we have to worry about coming up as we head through the next several hours. In fact, here's a look at that line. Live look at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar.
Take that if you want, Kim, if you want to
Sure.
see by far.
Okay.
Love it.
And right now, as you can see, just south of Titusville, again, right over by our camera here in Cape Canaveral, you can see that line of heavier showers and thunderstorms pushing through right now. A little bit of rotation with it also as it heads its way towards the coastal sections here of Brevard County, from just around Cape Canaveral all the way down towards the northern parts of Melbourne, Melbourne Beach. That's where we're going to see the worst weather coming up over the next half hour or so. So again, we still have the tornado warning in effect across the area, as radar indicated. Haven't seen any kind of ground indications that it's actually hit the ground, but that doesn't even matter. Even if it doesn't hit the ground, this is still a very strong thunderstorm. You can see all of the lightning there. In fact, 178 lightning strikes just in the last 15 minutes in this location. Again, that's going to be central and northern parts of Brevard County. The good news is here is that it's actually going to continue to move its way offshore, which is a good thing. Once it gets offshore, we'll be a little bit a little happier here as we continue our way through the next half hour or so. But again, right now, the most lightning is right through here, and you can see those little radar indicated rotations pushing off towards the east and the northeast. Let me get you a little bit closer here. And you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here. As you can see, back out towards Cocoa Beach, and back out towards the Cape. That's that radar indicated rotation right on through here. So that's going to move its way across the Cape coming up over the next half hour. So I can put a little, let me stop this down just for a second, and I will put a track on that. As you can see, some of the heaviest rain right now is just off to the west of Cocoa, right around our radar site, but this batch is going to be moving its way off towards the east and northeast, Audubon 452, and over towards Cape Canaveral at 521. You can expect some gusty winds across that area. So again, we're looking at a big area of rotation right now, and it's going to continue moving its way through the central and northern parts of Brevard County. Let's get and see what's going on the wire right now, see what's coming over. Okay, we still have our severe thunderstorm warning. That's northeastern Osceola County, southern Brevard County now until 5:45. So they have extended out that warning just a bit in that location. So again, we have the tornado warning in effect until 5 a.m. That's going to be northern parts of Brevard County. We also have that severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be northeastern Osceola County and southern Brevard County until Florida. Basically, it's that line I was just showing you moving from Cocoa and down towards Melbourne, and it's heading off towards the east. We can expect some gusty winds with it. A lot of lightning also associated with it. Could see winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour in some time at times also. So it is definitely a storm that bears watching, that's for sure, over the next hour or two.
And Jamie, I'm just going to call back up the Cape Canaveral camera. A reminder that we have our tornado watch that goes until 8 o'clock this morning. And here is our Health First Cape Canaveral Hospital camera.
That's some lightning.
Yeah, that's in a good position for us to see exactly what's happening. Of course, it's still dark out. And Jamie, we talk about these thunderstorms during the overnight hours. These tend to be the most dangerous because people are sleeping.
Yeah, absolutely. They're sleeping. You know, there's one thing that really that kind of scares me a little bit in terms of storms, and that's lightning, because of the fact that it's so random. So definitely want to take care. You want to take cover out there. I know you want to see what the storm is doing, but make sure you're staying inside, staying safe. The storm is going to be moving its way offshore probably in the next 15 or 20 minutes, but you can see just how much lightning there is. We're probably getting lightning strikes every maybe 5-10 seconds out there. So we're looking at a very big storm pushing its way through parts of Brevard County right now. Again, the Cape Canaveral Health First Hospital cam showing all that lightning coming down right now. We still have the warnings in effect across the area. Again, tornado warning in effect till 5 a.m. and we also have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Osceola and Brevard County, and that's going to be going until 5:45. So we are talking about a rather large storm system moving its way through the area right now, and that's going to continue to move its way through the Cape Canaveral area over the next half hour or so. We're going to continue, of course, to monitor things out there, and we're getting new information from the newsroom all the time. Obviously, don't do anything silly. Don't go outside and take pictures if you're not going to be safe. However, we would, like some indication if you do have any problems, any kind of damage in your area. Don't forget to hit us up at our News 13 Plus app on your phone and let us know what's going on in your location.
I'll take the radar, Jamie, and go over to the wall and get some water. And we want to stay with this as these lightning flashes are imminent on our camera over in Cape Canaveral, and the radar is still very active. We have some new information coming in. Jamie can check on that while I just go over to the radar and bring you with the latest of what's happening here in northern Brevard County. A dangerous storm with torrential rainfall, very gusty winds. Cocoa at Titusville, Merritt Island, Cape Canaveral. This is where the situation is the most imminent, and our tornado warning continues until 5 o'clock. Any new information?
Well, the good news is Polk County is no longer underneath the watch any longer. So evidently everything is moving through very quickly. That's great news.
That's good, because there are still another 3 hours left on the watch. So if they discontinue that now, that's a sign this is moving out. This is where our situation continues, though. Damaging winds possible in and around Cocoa, Cape Canaveral, Rockledge. We're just seeing on the camera that we have a lot of lightning showing up on our Health First Cape Canaveral Hospital camera. And this is a situation where the winds are very strong, perhaps a possible tornado still imminent as indicated by radar.
Wow.
And Yeah, a lot of lightning.
I was actually going to just say, if you want to step to the side just for a second with the Cape Canaveral cam, you can see those are little antennae that are on top of the building and definitely beginning to get blown around right now. Winds, starting to get very gusty out there right around the intercoastal.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jamie. And this is exactly in the path of our storm that has about 8 minutes left on our tornado warning. There's Cape Canaveral. The camera is located just over on the edge of your screen here. So we're seeing a lot of lightning looking off to the west where the storm has the reds and oranges showing up. Rockledge getting some very heavy rainfall. This has now shifted over our radar site and it's moving closer to the coastline. This extends down into eastern Osceola County where we still have our severe thunderstorm warning. So if you are just waking up in Melbourne and West Melbourne, here's where we see some heavy rainfall just moving in. Satellite Beach in the Atlantic, this is just off to your west, is going to be moving in.
Can we go back to the camera for a second?
Yeah, we'll go back to the camera.
Because I'm able to see it over here and they're not, but if you step off to the side, check this out. Look at the wind that is coming through right now. You can see it whipping across that area right now. You can see it blowing across the area, probably at least 40-45 mile per hour winds going through right now. Heavy rain is hitting our site right now, and look at all the lightning. This is definitely going to be a very strong storm for folks over by the Cape and heading over towards Cocoa Beach.
Absolutely, and this is the area that's still in the tornado warning until 5 o'clock. The rest of us in a tornado watch. Sounds like Polk County discontinued, as Jamie was just talking about, but for those areas that are in southern Brevard County, heavy rainfall just moving in and a lot of lightning. Within the past 15 minutes, finding over 200 lightning strikes. I bring that frame of view down to this part of central Brevard County. Within this frame, nearly 100 strikes in the last 15 minutes or so. This storm is moving through the Cocoa area, Cocoa, Cape Canaveral. Not seeing as much rotation. The shear marker seems to be removed. I'm going to go back to this graphic right here to see where the situation is perhaps picking up on some hail or some gusty winds. This core right here, the pink shaded area just moving into Brevard County, perhaps some hail. I've not seen any reports of that, but if you have hail near your house, would like to hear from you if you are in a safe place. And here are some of the roads showing up here where there could be some hail. But earlier, this was detecting winds over 50 to 70 miles per hour. Radar just updated and that shifted, a sign of the live data. Viera, this is just on the west side of you, moving to the north and east with perhaps some small hail associated with this. Jamie, got anything new?
Nothing new on the wires yet, but we were just talking about last night. I know you were getting ready for your early morning yesterday, but yeah, very cold air aloft across the area, and that basically is an indication that we could get some of the hail across the area with some of those stronger thunderstorms. I got to say, this is definitely one of the stronger thunderstorms. That is for absolute sure moving through Cape Canaveral right now. You see it on the Health First Hospital cam here. You can see everything getting blown around right now, and the rain is really coming down very hard right now. Don't really have a good indication of hail right now across that area, but very heavy rain again. Gusty winds will continue across that region. As you can see, it's really coming down very hard. You got the wind and you've got the heavy rain. You've got the possibility of hail. Severe thunderstorm warning again in effect for Brevard and parts of Osceola County. That's till 5:45. Still have that tornado warning for another 4 minutes or so right now. We're hitting 4:56, but just check out how bad it is right now across that area. As you can see, this is a great indication that you should be taking cover across that region at the present time. We're still looking at social media. We're still checking all the indications to see if there's been any damage. So far, haven't had reports of damage, but you can expect at least some tree limbs down with some winds gusting up to 40-45 miles per hour right now. And as you can see, it's really getting hit very hard around Cape Canaveral at the present time. So again, we've got the tornado warning in effect until 5 a.m. Even if it doesn't touch the ground, as you can see, look at all that lightning back around Cape Canaveral right now. We've got a tremendous amount of lightning in that location, up to 280 lightning strikes around the area right now. And we've got those gusty winds continuing across the area. So the Health First Hospital cam really doing a great job right now of showing just how bad the weather is as it moves its way across the intercoastal, Mosquito Lagoon, and heading its way off towards the east. Let's go ahead and look over towards Melbourne right now, see how things are going down down there a little bit better right now. But I want to stress right now because at the present time it's only light to moderate rain, but you can see that lightning in the background. The light to moderate rain will get heavy as that line pushes its way across the southern and central parts of Brevard County. So northern parts of Brevard County under the gun right now for the worst weather, but as we head through the next hour or so, that's going to head its way down towards Melbourne. So again, we are looking at a lot of showers, a lot of thunderstorms back across the area. And again, we still have our watch in effect across the area. Here's a little wider look at the radar. Western parts of the area, Leesburg, Ocala, I-75, most of the turnpike, A-OK right now, but it's all over here towards the eastern parts of the area around Titusville, over towards Cape Canaveral, and down towards Melbourne. As I just showed you, Melbourne right now just looking at some light rain. However, that's definitely going to change as this line continues to push its way off towards the east. You can expect some very gusty winds, possibly damaging winds, back across the area all the way through the southern parts of Brevard County, but only over the next hour or so. Then everything begins to calm down and we start to dry things out across the area. But again, still a tornado warning, only in effect for about another minute and a half. Other than that, we're looking at very gusty winds and that severe thunderstorm warning for parts of southeastern Osceola County, central and southern parts of Brevard County, and over towards Vero Beach as we head through the next half hour or so.
If Jamie, if you want to take Max 1, if you want to use any of the radar with that at the duals, you are totally welcome to. I'll go back over to the wall and I can take Viper from here because as Jamie was just talking about, we have that storm that is moving across the across southern parts of Brevard County, or maybe you haven't had as much rain so far this morning. But it's important to note that also water spouts possible once these storms move offshore. So this is an area that we still want to continue to monitor, even though it looks like the tornado warning about to expire in about 2 minutes, and we'll let you know if we have anything updated on that. This loop right here showing some of those shear markers which are no longer appearing on radar. It looks like if we go in for a closer view of the latest imagery, maybe we can see if there is one appearing. Looks like they are removed. So in this loop, you can see where the radar had some rotation showing up with those yellow circles, but now the latest data does not have that. But this is still a very dangerous storm with a lot of lightning from Cocoa to Melbourne traveling along I-95. If you had been planning on leaving the house, you normally leave around 5 o'clock in the morning, just wait for this to move offshore, and it's going to push through very quickly. Cocoa and Rockledge, Cape Canaveral, Merritt Island, torrential rainfall right now, along with some gusty winds. Saw a couple reports coming in on Twitter of some small hail. I didn't get a chance to look at them much, but if you have any reports from these areas and you're in a safe area, please interact with us by posting at My News 13 Weather, or you can post on our